I'd like to say hello to all the listeners out there. This is James, the Petersen Museum, and No Braking. And I've got with me in the wonderful 1971 Opel GT, Elana Scherr.
Hi, James.
Lovely to have you, Elana, on this terrible winter's day.
It's so
Southern
cold out
California.
there. There's snows.
Snows, we can definitely see snows on the mountain.
Snows is a thing, right?
It certainly is a thing, and there's even the popo there, just to make sure we've got our studded chains on and we're not causing any problems. Look at him even out there with a fine moustache.
He's pretty intimidated by the speed that we're achieving in this automobile, but he's like, there's no way I'd even catch him, so.
I know, I mean, how fast are we going now? Obviously the speed limit, which is probably about 335 miles an hour.
Yeah, it's hard to say because the speedometer, A, isn't accurate and B, bounces around a lot, so we're going somewhere between 30 and 50 right now.
Okay, that's what I like to hear. It's always good when you have things vibrating around so fast that you don't know where they are.
Yeah.
It's a good excuse, I find.
I would like you to notice that it does go to 150 though.
Of course it does.
Because this is an Autobahn car.
But does it go 150 in reverse?
There's only one way to find out.
Exactly.
In someone else's Opel.
Yeah, not in this one, obviously. This is the classy, restored one of one at this point, right? Opel GT?
Well, it's one of one, as in it's the only one I own.
Exactly, so that's what I mean. We're going by the Porsche method here of calculating things at the number system. So it's a one of one that you own, so that makes it unique in the whole Opel community.
Yes. I mean, there aren't a lot of them tootling around Southern California, but I do see them here and there, and it's a wonderful team experience when I do see another Opel GT.
Is that because you get to flip the headlights at them?
Oh, yes. I mean, sometimes they can't flip the headlights back at me because that's a thing that often breaks on an Opel GT.
I could imagine. I would never understand why that was something that might actually have an issue with.
Yeah.
The flipping headlights. I guess if only one breaks, though, it's not too bad. Aside from obviously not being able to see, because then it's like a wink.
I don't know if they'll work at all if one breaks. You know, it's an entirely mechanical setup.
I was just thinking it'd be like a cheeky little wink at that point.
It's this big handle right there is what
I know,
does
I like the force that you have to go when you use it.
Yeah, drive an Opel GT and you end up with a big right forearm and a big left clutch leg.
Hey, it's like arm and leg day all in one.
Only just on one side. I need a European version to switch it up.
So, how long have you had this car for then, Elana?
I have had this car 5 years now, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what was it that said, you know what, this is the car for me?
Well, I'm actually known more for being sort of a muscle car person.
Which we'll get into in a little bit later.
But so I've always had these sort of big American cars, and a neighbor bought this little car. It was in their front yard. It was just this tiny little baby Corvette thing. I'm like, what is that I needed? I want it. And so that was sort of my first introduction to the Opel GT. That was maybe 8 years ago or something like that. And so I started looking for one, and you know, it took a couple years to find one that I like, and also to be ready. You know, it's like you get the idea in your head and you start looking, and maybe I passed on some I'd have purchased.
Sure.
Just being not quite ready to commit, to put the ring on it. And
yeah, it's always difficult, you know.
Yeah, but then I found this one, and it was just the right mix of good, solid setup, but also in need of rescue to just completely win me over. And and I took it home, and I've loved it ever since.
That is the way to be. So, what is the stuff that you've done to it or needs to be done to it to just make it like Concord that we'll see at Pebble Beach in the next 2 years?
I don't understand why you're asking that. I mean, is it not clearly already completely finished?
The only thing that I see wrong at the moment is the speaker that is resting on my feet.
Yeah, there is that.
So people might know you for a little bit not quite having small engined German cars, but for something else. What would that be that you may be more known for?
Well, I was a staff editor at Hot Rod Magazine for 4.5 years, and then I was the editor-in-chief of Roadkill Magazine and Roadkill.com. And so I've spent a lot of time around hot rods and muscle cars, and I have a 1970 Dodge Challenger, I have a 69 Dodge Polara, I have a whole bunch of Dodge trucks, and so that's the sort of thing that I kind of cut my teeth learning about building and driving. My husband's also into cars, so between the two of us, I think it's about a dozen right now.
Only a dozen.
I forget them here and there. They pop up. I'm like, oh yeah, right, I have that wagon.
And so does this mean that you have like an extensive underground temperature control garage that you store them in, like any respectable car collector?
If by temperature controlled underground garage you mean a dirt lot, yes.
That's exactly isn't it the same thing?
Yeah, they don't have like a nanny who comes and like pets them at night or anything.
That's something maybe one of our loyal listeners or loyal viewers might offer to do that, to come over there and just pet and stroke and cajole the cars.
You're doing such a good job.
Exactly.
But yeah, so we redesigned the exhaust hangers to sort of beef up the rubber, and then we broke the actual mounting point off of the bottom of the car. So
okay.
That's what happens when you change your weak point.
Sure.
So then we redesigned it again, and now it's awesome.
And that's why it sounds so good.
And that's
obviously.
why it sounds so good.
Of course, nothing's falling off.
Yeah.
Touch wood at this point.
Redid shocks in the back. I need to do the front suspension. There's a little bit of a clunk. And what else? Changed the carburetor, put a Weber on it. It comes with a Solex originally.
Yep.
And that's about it. Oh, I did the seats in the carpet. And,
which is very comfortable.
did
the seats, not the carpet. The carpet I haven't really got down to like.
Well, it's more comfortable than it was when it had a big hole in it.
There you go.
And then you know, like your foot would get kind of caught in it.
Yeah.
So yeah, what does it need coming forward? Well, it needs the front suspension. It probably already needs the seats again. And it needs a little bit of bodywork and paint. It's a really nice car. It's not rusty at all, which was one of the big problems with these things if you're trying to find one.
Obviously, because the California weather leads everything to rust out here.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm speaking for people all over the world trying to, because I'm sure that after they see this, the first thing they're going to do is go to Craigslist or their Craigslist equivalent and look up Opel GT.
And buy all of them. And
be like,
and then you'll be shocked.
How do I get me one?
And they'll be like, but you'll be like, oh damn, I've made these so popular now I can't get parts for them.
Well, Gil at OpelGTSource.com will be very pleased with me if I do that.
Well, there you go. See, hopefully at least give you that 10% discount. Maybe 15% if you use cash.
From the very beginning of getting into car stuff, I would just read car magazines, right? And when I started, I didn't even know what any of it meant. It was like the vocabulary was completely new to me, and it would be like I would understand every fourth word, like, oh, blue.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
You know, but after starting to do stuff and then continuing to read the magazines, it's like it kind of became clear, like learning a code or something. I just thought that was so awesome. And I really wanted to be a part of that group of people, those people who were telling those stories and explaining that stuff so beautifully and making me want to be a part of that community. I just thought that was awesome. So I always wanted to do that. I'm doing PR. I'm talking to the magazine people, and it did not occur to me that I could do it.
So you touched on it earlier. So people might know you for a little bit not quite having small engined German cars, but for something else. What would that be that you may be more known for?
Well, I was a staff editor at Hot Rod Magazine for 4.5 years, and then I was the editor-in-chief of Roadkill Magazine and Roadkill.com. And so I've spent a lot of time around hot rods and muscle cars, and I have a 1970 Dodge Challenger, I have a 69 Dodge Polara, I have a whole bunch of Dodge trucks, and so that's the sort of thing that I kind of cut my teeth learning about building and driving.
With that being the case, if people are looking to find you, Lana, where would they look to find you online?
You can find me on all of the various social medias, and it is at Challenge Her.
Exactly. So with that being the case, would you like to thank everyone for listening, and thank you again for being on the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you for braving the Opel.
Oh, it's my pleasure. We'll see you next time, guys. Bye-bye.